being that's called Metalheads, there was a dude there. His name's Fuzzy. He's cool as fuck, and he was talking to another dude in the other corner of my fucking, my peripheral. I just hear him say Cephalic Carnage, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I've never heard anyone say Cephalic Carnage in public, dude, unless I'm at a Cephalic Carnage show, unless it's like, you or DT or somebody like that. And I was like, what'd you just say? He's like, Cephalic Carnage, man, they're the fucking first grindcore band of all time. I'm like, fucking bad as fuck, dude. And I told him what I just told you. I was like, I never hear anyone talk about that. So I got to tell him my cool story about and sound all cool in front of all the people at Metalheads. I'm like, yeah, they wrote a song about me, because it's true.
What was their reaction when they said that? Were they like, yeah, fuck you?
No, they were like, holy shit. And like, Rich seemed really intrigued too, because I don't think he ever heard that story, but he was there for Room 26, and he knows it could be believable. You know what I mean? And pretty much there's this band I had never heard of in my life. We had the baddest rehearsal studio, remember, in downtown Phoenix.
Yep.
Fucking, it was Palm Lane and fucking I-17, ghetto as fuck. And we practiced there pretty much every night. We'd go there and party every day. It was like our junior year and senior year in high school and shit. And we had the baddest studio in the whole place, and that was all because of Pat. He fucking had like the baddest fucking PA system, fucking crazy lights, fucking.
They had a loft and shit.
Loft. We had a stand for the keyboard, fucking refrigerator. It was always constantly beer and shit. TVs, strobe lights, black, anything you can imagine. It was cooler than the Mason jar.
Plants
honestly,
everywhere.
Honestly, like it was just decked out. And so across from our hall was I just call him Metal Mike, and he was in this kind of like this really shitty metal band, and he's always playing the drums and shit. And while we were practicing in Room 26, he had brought Cephalic Carnage back from the show. I've never even heard of Cephalic Carnage, right? We were just practicing, and he went to their show because he had heard of them. And, well, as they're coming down the hallway, they look in his fucking shitty studio, and then they look in ours. Ours looks like a fucking nightclub. They're like, oh, what's going on in there? So they all fucking came and hung out in our studio and shit. You know what I mean? And I remember just thinking, like, who are these fucking guys? But we didn't care. We were, just partied down there, dude. You just met so many crazy motherfuckers down there all the time. But they were just pretty much just 4 stoner dudes from Colorado. I remember being drunk as fuck. And then me and Pat and Mike jammed 3 songs in front of them, and they were just fucking rocking out. And, our shit was kind of like slow goth heavy, And then, actually, I got to back up the story. Before we played, I had a 6-foot bong there.
Yeah.
I think I've told that story millions of times.
Yeah.
You'd actually have to stand on the keyboard stage to fucking hit it and have someone else light it. The only guy to ever clear it, out of fucking probably at least 1,000 people that tried, was Evil Dave, he was like 5'3", and we were all like, what the fuck? But anyway, Cephalic Carnage all hit the 6-foot bong, right? And then we jammed, and then I walk them out because they were leaving and stuff, and they're just like, holy shit, you got me every one of them, they're like, you got me the highest I've ever been. Holy shit, oh my God. And I'm thinking, that's cool, man, blah, 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 badass, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, here's one of our CDs and shit. I'm like, oh, sweet, thanks. It's all shrink wrapped. They take off. I hop in Pat's car, and Pat's like, open that bitch up. So I open it and shit, and I'm starting to look at, this is back when CDs and they had the booklet and shit. The whole CD booklet, dude, is just marijuana, weed.
Nugs. Just fucking nugs.
Nugs, yeah. And their fucking band photo is actually them going like this, just holding nugs out like that. And Pat goes, holy shit, you got them the highest they've ever been. I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck? That's crazy. So anyway, I kept a relationship with them through AOL chat back then.
Yeah.
And they actually came back like, I want to say, well, they came back a bunch of times, but 2 other times where I actually arranged places for them to stay because they couldn't stay with me because I was living with my parents. I was still in high school and shit at the time. So, and then on their next album, they actually wrote a song called 9 Feet of Smoke, and it's about hitting the 6-footer, and they actually thanked me in the credits and shit. So when I told that story in front of everyone at Metalheads, I was like, fucking, I felt like I was like in with the crew. I was like, hell yeah. Bang.